Hey, Stephen Key here. Thanks for watching. Once again, we're going to start doing these little videos about signs that you're doing everything right. And we'll probably do a couple signs that maybe you're doing things that aren't quite right. So anyway, what are some of the good signs that you're negotiating correctly? Or what are some of the signs that your deal is going to be good? Or what are some of the signs when you're negotiating, you're dealing with a fair company? I'll tell you this, it's quite simple, but it is a little complicated. Negotiation takes a long time, and it's very stressful. And I tell everybody, you want this to be over so fast, it's just not going to happen that way. So a bad sign is when you're negotiating with the company, if they put pressure on you to sign this contract now. That's a bad sign, right? Because you should never be in a hurry. I don't care what they tell you, it takes time. That's a bad sign. Another bad sign would be if they send you over a licensing agreement that's absolutely awful. That's not actually even a bad sign. That's just a bad starting point. It just means that they're starting with the boilerplate licensing agreement and everything's going to look awful. It seems like a bad sign, but it's really not. But it's a sign that you're going to have to do some work. And you're going to have to negotiate lots of terms. And it's not hard to do. But it does take a little bit of time and a little bit of skill and a little bit of patience. Okay, so if you're starting to work with that company, and another good sign would be that they've done some licensing before, they do understand it, that's a great sign. And they might mention that they've licensed another product to somebody else, wonderful sign. And if they have a boilerplate licensing agreement, like I just said, that's actually a pretty good sign. That means they've done it before, so you get it. Another good sign would be that they give it over to you and you're reviewing it, and you have some questions, which is perfectly fine, and you're going to have a lot of questions. And the questions that you have, they come back to you with maybe their position on a particular clause, or maybe you say, look, could you explain this? And they get back to you fairly quick and they explain it. That's really a good sign. That's a sign they're willing to work with you a little bit. If they come back to you and you say, look, let's discuss the royalty rate, and they say, look, it's 2%, and you said, gee, that's a little low, do you think we could go a little higher? And they say, no, we won't budge. That's kind of a bad sign. If you ask for minimum guarantees and they say, look, we don't do that, we've never done that, we will never do that, that's kind of a bad sign. But if they're willing to kind of talk about it and you're willing to maybe give them your position on some of these things that don't look so good, and they're willing to talk to you about it or at least hear you out, that's a great sign. I think it's a good sign when it's moving forward, just a little bit at a time. A bad sign is they send it to you and you have a question, they don't get back to you in 60 days. That's a bad sign. It means it's not a priority for them. Or if they come back to you and they're just, like I said, very firm, they're only going to do it one way, that's a bad sign. It's a give and take, and it's a relationship. And I tell everybody, the best thing to do when you're in a negotiation, find someone that can help you. We do that, or find somebody else. But truly, do not do this by yourself. There's so much to it. There's a sequence that needs to happen. You don't want to ask for too much too fast. You want to ask for the harder stuff later. You want to do all those things in the correct order to get them to say yes and get a good deal. So bad signs in a licensing agreement negotiation, if they hurry you to sign it now, bad sign. Another bad sign is that you only have maybe a 2-page agreement. That's a bad sign. Another bad sign in a licensing agreement, maybe they don't even have definitions. That clouds the issue. They should have definitions. Another bad sign would be, like I said, they don't get back to you on timing. They don't want to budge. They're not going to budge on royalties or minimum guarantees or some other things. Those are kind of bad signs that this company is going to be a little bit difficult. Another bad sign is if they've never done one and they want you to supply the licensing agreement. Bad sign. You should never do that. All right. So I guess this isn't good signs. I guess I did bad signs. It doesn't matter, you guys. Hopefully you picked up a few tips when negotiating and telling what's going to happen. I can tell very quickly if a company is going to be workable, reasonable, and fair. just by that first licensing or first contract that comes to me, and how quickly they handle it, and their attitude about the process. That tells me a lot about how smooth this is going to go. Once again, Stephen Key here. Thanks for watching. Hi, this is Stephen Key, and I just want to thank you for watching InventRight TV. We're here to save you time, save you money, and show you how you can bring your products to market through licensing. So please subscribe down below, click on the button, and tell your friends. Thank you.